I never thought a sentence could change the way I looked at my own house, but that one did. My wife didn't yell. She didn't argue. She didn't even look nervous. She just leaned against the kitchen counter, scrolling her phone, and said it like it was a weather update. I've got a male friend now. Deal with it. I'm Rowan, 43, married to Eliza for 11 years. Or at least, I was married in spirit until that moment. I wasn't some jealous teenager. I believed in trust. I believed adults could have friends. What hit me wasn't the word male. It was the way she said deal with it. Like my feelings were an inconvenience she'd already decided to ignore. When we met, Eliza liked that I was steady. I worked logistics, long hours, predictable income. I wasn't flashy, but I showed up. I fixed things. I planned ahead. She said I made her feel safe. For years, we worked. Not perfect, but solid. Sunday mornings with coffee. Shared calendars. Inside jokes that didn't need explaining. Somewhere along the way, that warmth cooled. Not overnight. Gradually. Conversations shortened. Touch became accidental instead of intentional. She spent more time on her phone than with me, but I told myself that was modern life. Everyone scrolls. Everyone gets busy. The first time she mentioned him, it sounded harmless. A guy from work, she said. We talk sometimes. I nodded. I didn't interrogate. I didn't check her phone. I trusted the woman I married. Then sometimes turned into often turned into late nights. She started smiling at messages she didn't share. If I asked how her day was, she'd give me headlines instead of details. I felt it, that subtle shift where you're no longer the person someone tells things to first. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't want to be the insecure husband. That night in the kitchen, though, stripped away the illusion. I asked a simple question. Does this bother you if I'm uncomfortable with it? She sighed, finally looked at me, and said the line that settled everything. I've got a male friend now. Deal with it. No reassurance. No explanation. No respect. Just a boundary drawn straight through my chest. In that instant, I understood something clearly. This wasn't about friendship. It was about priority. She had decided I came second, and she wasn't interested in negotiating that decision. I didn't argue. That surprised her. She waited, probably expecting a reaction she could dismiss. I just nodded once and said okay. Not sarcastic, not angry, just calm. Then I walked past her, up the stairs, and into our bedroom. I sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, listening to the house hum. The refrigerator, the distant traffic, the life I'd been maintaining without noticing how little I was being considered in it. Clarity has a sound. It's quiet, but unmistakable. I pulled a suitcase from the closet. Not mine. Hers. I folded clothes carefully, not out of spite, but because that's who I am. Jeans, sweaters, work outfits. I added toiletries, chargers, the things she'd need to function without texting me for favors. Each item felt like a decision finalized. Downstairs, she eventually noticed the absence of my footsteps. She came up, confused, leaning against the door frame with that same detached expression. What are you doing? She asked. I didn't look at her. I said, helping you commit to your choice. She laughed once, short and sharp, like I'd made a joke that didn't land. You're overreacting, she said. That word again. Overreacting. As if self-respect were a tantrum. I finally met her eyes. No, I said. I'm reacting appropriately. I reminded her of the words she'd used. Deal with it. I explained, calmly, that I wouldn't compete for space in my own marriage. I wouldn't sit at home while my wife built emotional intimacy elsewhere and told me to swallow it. She accused me of being controlling. I told her boundaries aren't control. They're clarity. She tried to pivot then, said it wasn't serious, said I was misinterpreting things. But the tone had changed. The confidence she'd had in the kitchen was gone, replaced by uncertainty. I carried the suitcase downstairs and set it by the door. I told her she was free to have any friends she wanted. She just wouldn't do it while sharing a life I was financing, maintaining, and emotionally investing in alone. I wasn't kicking her out in anger. I was stepping back with intention. She left that night. Not dramatically. No shouting. No slammed doors. Just quiet disbelief. The house felt different after she walked out. Lighter somehow. Not because I was happy, but because the tension of pretending had finally ended. I slept better than I had in months. The next morning, messages came. Confusion. Accusations. Warnings that I'd regret this. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to clarify. She'd been clear already. Deal with it. So I did. People think strength looks like confrontation. Sometimes it looks like packing bags and choosing peace. I didn't lose my wife that night. I lost the illusion that I had won. What I gained was quieter, but more valuable. My dignity. And I'm not unpacking that for anyone again. Over the following weeks, reality settled in. Friends asked questions I didn't answer. Family offered opinions I didn't request. Eliza tried once more to frame herself as misunderstood, as if intention outweighed impact. I wished her well without reopening the door. I focused on work, routines, the small disciplines that rebuild a man quietly. Trust, I learned, isn't about policing behavior. It's about mutual consideration. The moment consideration disappears, commitment follows it out. I didn't pack her bags to punish her. I packed them because I refused to shrink myself to fit into a marriage where respect had already moved out. That decision still stands, steady, calm, and final, no matter who disagrees tomorrow or later.